Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And please guys, put down in the comment section what your favorite coin is. And the reason I am asking you guys that is because by just commenting something down below, you can actually enter into our 500 XRP giveaway. Because yes guys, if one of these videos hits 2,000 likes before New Year, and I'm counting by the way the Californian time, if it does, we're giving away 500 XRP to somebody who pressed the like button, commented something down below, and is actually subscribed. Well, if you don't want to subscribe, it doesn't really matter, but just make sure you do comment something down below because that's where you pick somebody from. And yeah, but just answering that little question, you've automatically entered yourself. First of all, eToro drops XRP for US customers. I can kind of conclude that most exchanges will eventually, stop the trading. So we can kind of already admit now to the idea that January 15th or so is definitely going to be like right around the doomsday. This one is January 3rd, giving people a lot less time, but it's generally right in January somewhere in the first 2 weeks or so they're going to be delisting it. It's definitely important to understand that they're going through all of this, and it's also because 2021 is going to be IPO era for most of these crypto projects or these brokers or these exchanges, and thus they do not want to be involved with any regulatory issues in that regard because, well, they make money regardless, so they'd rather just stop the trading because they don't really care about it. Then, can the SEC devastate Bitcoin like XRP by classifying Bitcoin as a security? I actually personally think they could. And the reason I titled this video that this will be the largest collapse of crypto ever, because I already know the title because that's what I want to primarily talk about in this video, is because of this article on its own as well. The SEC, according to my own personal opinion, and this opinion is not financial advice, but just mine alone, doesn't mean that you have to listen, doesn't mean you have to do anything because I said this, it's just my opinion, might actually have some huge consequences on literally the entire crypto market. I believe, firmly, if XRP is deemed a security, Stellar is going down as well. And if Stellar is going down, I firmly believe there's going to be at least 15 others who are going down in the next 3 months from when that verdict is made. With that idea in mind, I believe stablecoins will go down too. Meaning Tether will be broken, and every other stablecoin that is pegged to the US dollar at least will be broken too. If that goes to happen, oh my days, will the whole crypto space be turned around because a lot of exchanges will be sued. Once those exchanges will be sued, it will definitely be another readjustment of Bitcoin and Ethereum because, well, people are going to be looking at these cases and be like, well, they call it a security because of some decentralized past or some foundation selling yada yada yada, and so Ethereum will most likely be called a security too, and with that idea in mind, eventually Bitcoin might be called a security too, since these decisions are not forever. And even if XRP is not called a security right now, it doesn't actually mean that it won't be called a security in the future, as these rules can always be overridden, as they can say they made a mistake. Will it be bad? Yeah, if they make a mistake, it's very annoying, but they can make mistakes. It could also be that they call it security now and actually change their mind later. It could be, but you should understand the severity of what's happening right now. These are the biggest tests that you could give any project, or basically give any investor too. I do not believe they're doing this for the investors though, as I don't think that they didn't anticipate all the losses that it would bring with. Also, we already covered, I think, to a certain degree, why Bitcoin could also be called a security in one of the videos earlier if they go after XRP. Let's see here. But according to Schiff, the SEC can change its mind anytime and consider Bitcoin as a security and have enough grounds to go after it. Quote, all the SEC has to do is allege that people bought Bitcoin in anticipation of selling it for a profit and that others profit from their efforts to help generate profits for all Bitcoin owners. In Bitcoin's defense, Blockstack co-founder and Bitcoin network developer Munib said that the rules are already clear and in favor of Bitcoin based on fundamentals. Quote, that is not how security regulations work. I'd suggest brushing on the Howey analysis or reading SEC statements and state Bitcoin is not a security, which means that it's not as clear just quite yet. Once more, I just think that once Ripple gets called out and it's kind of done, it will finally be clear whether or not they really thought it was a security or not. But as of this point though, I'm still kind of in the middle of things with what exactly the SEC's purpose is. I do know, however, that this could be one of the biggest collapses of crypto if this pulls through, as Coinbase has already gotten sued. XRP is just the start, many more losses will follow. Tether is being sued, or basically Tether is being alleged to be a stablecoin. It is a stablecoin to be a security as a stablecoin, which means that all stablecoins could be a security. In turn, we also got another kind of regulational piece coming for self-custody wallets. It's basically a lot of freaking regulations coming in all together, and a lot of them are really, really bad because they do not want the financial system to develop itself. They want the financial system to stay exactly the same with some new integrations. That's the way I see it. Talking about crypto, though, it's not like every crypto does bad. For example, Polkadot here surged 60% weekly as Binance announced a $10 million support fund. It's not like all cryptos do bad. It's not like you should also be wary of any crypto. I mean, it can also be that even though they're called out or a lot of cryptos might fall, that every one of them might. It doesn't work that way. You know, Polkadot, for example, did extremely splendid here over a longer period of time. And I still do not understand Polkadot, to the complete dot. Because they do so well on times when you would least expect it from the crypto market. They just prosper and go on and on and on and make newer highs and newer points. It's just really amazing how Polka is moving right now. Also, guys, check out GSX. I'm not saying you should buy it. I'm not saying I see no risks in this, but I do think the risk to reward ratio is pretty damn good for GSX. Of course, always do your own due diligence. There's a 5% bonus link down below, though, if you want to buy some coins. And basically what GSX is GSX offers an asset backing, currently $3.2 billion US, of a stable coin, which they're calling it a stable coin, but it's actually not. The reason they're calling it stable coin is because this coin is pegged. So it basically just means this coin that they're making is going to be pegged to the assets that it's going to be backed by, which is why it's a stable coin, but officially it's not the case though, so I don't think it holds up in that sense. It is more so a growth coin, which is a new term because it's not something that really exists already. It is basically going to increase in value as the valuation of their assets increase as well. And thus, it should, theoretically speaking, always keep going up the more value that they get. And since their value is derived by the gold and gold-rich land that they have, it should theoretically keep going up if they keep reinvesting and buying more land, right? At least that's my opinion of things. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, well, it has a good risk to reward. It has a good potential of becoming something huge. I wouldn't throw my whole life savings at it like I don't do with any other crypto either, but I'm just considering it as another crypto, but then in earlier stages, which is why I'm putting a little bit of money in it. Once more, if you use my link, it does get me a little bit of a bonus. Understand that. With that said, guys, 5% bonus if you do use the link, and make sure you just check it out at least and give it a little look. If you don't trust it, don't go for it. Otherwise, just join the Discord and talk with us because, well, we're trying to figure out this whole project all together, and we have a direct link to the team so we can talk with them if we have any questions, or you might even be able to ask it here. I've never used that, so just check it out, guys. Let me put this one away, and let's move on. Governments will start to hold Bitcoin in 2021. I still think up to this point that 2021 is going to be the biggest year for cryptocurrency adoption. Still believe that to the dot. Will governments really use it at that point? I'm not really sure. However, I did have some articles open, which I accidentally closed, I guess, where, for example, a Las Vegas car dealership is already open to it, and Miami, for example, is also looking at some possibilities of accepting taxes and whatnot. I think quite a lot of different places, counties, whatever you call it, will look at the possibility of accepting it and definitely take some looks at what the logistics would be. And maybe they would actually just accept crypto as a payment option, but still deposit it on their exchange account, after which they might switch it over again. That's a full freaking mouthful, or a whole mouthful. What talks? No breath, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But I think we're pretty far away before we can get, for example, all these stimulus bills in crypto, or where you can really pay your taxes in crypto, because there's always this risk of volatility, right? If you, for example, deviate a couple of hours with paying your taxes, it might actually be freaking 5% more or less. They don't really like that, I think, where, if you send it right now and a couple hours later, Bitcoin dumps like crazy, you got too lucky. And even though you could have done the same thing by just buying Bitcoin and selling it a little bit later and then giving it to them, I think they are going to more like that, and they really don't care about that, rather than you going to really send that crypto to them. I just know that for a fact. Also, in the US, you kind of have different laws, or difficult laws, because, well, if you sell your crypto, there's going to be another tax you have to pay, right? Capital gains tax in that sense, I believe. I don't know your US system too much because it's really different in the Netherlands here. But I kind of wonder exactly how that would work with, with all your value of your money, basically, if you were to pay your taxes in crypto. Do you not have to pay it then, or does it still include, but then considering the time that you sold, basically, or the time that you got rid of your crypto, do you then have to pay tax on top of that again, which would include that you have to pay tax on your tax, basically? By the way, you might be able to hear fireworks out there, because, we're getting very close to New Year, or it's actually been New Year's already, depending on where you're watching this video from, of course. That's pretty crazy. For you guys, I think it's getting very close to New Year's here. Pretty amazing, if you ask me. However, U.S.-China economic and geopolitical tension, I do think the U.S. is going to be getting more and more towards crypto as they also want to take a little bit less, some more pressure off of China. And of course, because this might actually help a lot of the guys who have gotten into this whole digital asset space to, pick the economy back up. They might give it another go. And also, it might help people transition into a CBDC standard, which they want to try push. Then the SEC's attack on crypto in the United States. This article here, I kind of thought about for a little second today. And the main reason I thought about it was because of this largest crypto collapse. I talked about that a little bit earlier, but one of the main points that I like to kind of refer to is this one right here. The SEC is completely wrong on the facts and law, and we are confident that we will ultimately prevail before a neutral fact finder. XRP, the third largest virtual currency with billions of dollars in trading every day, is a currency like the SEC has deemed Bitcoin and Ether, and is not an investment contract. This case bears no resemblance to the ICO cases the SEC has previously brought out and stretches the Howey standard beyond recognition. Andrew Cernussi, Dibvavise, and Plimpton. Quote, this complaint is wrong as a matter of law. Other major branches of U.S. government, including the Justice Department and the Treasury Department, FinCEN, have already determined that XRP is a currency. Transactions in XRP thus fall outside of the scope of the federal security laws. This is not the first time the SEC has tried to go beyond the statutory authority. The courts have corrected it before, and they will do so again. By Michael Kellogg, Hansen, Todd Figel, and Frederick. So yeah, then there was, of course, Brett Garlinghouse's whole speech towards the XRP community, and of course Ripple employees explaining that we are not only on the right side of the law, but we will also be on the right side of history as they clear everything up. And I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt. I still think Ripple is doing their very much best, and they're not really against us in that sense where they're trying to make money off of us, but really for the bigger picture. But that's, of course, a very difficult one to really pinpoint down because, well, if they were, they wouldn't really give it up publicly, right? So, of course, we are staying skeptical. We got to, man. We're talking about investments here. We're talking about our money. So even if I were to sell and you guys get angry, I think you're a little bit strange because basically what I think is anybody has the right to sell their coins. They might be weak if they do so on allegings, but if they cannot bear to take the risk, that's completely fine then, right? To me, I want to take the risk. I want to bet on it because I believe in the project. But if some stuff comes out, like for example, Ripple sold a lot of XRP on top of our heads purely for profit for their own pockets to, go on vacation with their wives, of course we're not going to like that. Did other crypto projects do it too? Yes. And that's again where the bigger issue comes in. What do you consider to be too much? What do you consider to be hostile? What do you consider to be just bad? And that's my difficult one, at least, I find. XRP, the third largest collapse of all time, says the Times Josh Frank. This actually talks about the fact that XRP went from $137 billion to about $10 billion, losing 93% of its value, being the third biggest collapse behind two other projects which I've lost the name from. These are Washington Mutual and Lehman Brothers, with their numbers here put down respectively. It's just interesting to see how they are calling it as if these things are like just assets or company valuations, where it's just the amount of money that is in a currency, but they're calling it out to be a security in the way that they're talking about the collapse of all time, right? But it's a currency losing some value. Just depends on how you view this. Then I just wanted to show you guys again, I sometimes forget the amount of customers that Ripple has. You can see it on their website here for just a little second or more if you keep scrolling through. You forget that all these guys partnered up with Ripple, knowing exactly what their purpose is and knowing everything about them, and still they decided to either onboard XRP or just work with them. I kind of find that difficult to believe that all these guys didn't see the stuff. I don't know. I sometimes think about that as well. Moving on. I actually got to get myself like a mouse pad or an interesting pad because I have to move all the way towards my laptop here in which I'm recording these things right now. Because again, I changed when my computer broke down, as I told you guys about before. that was pretty funny when that happened. I told you guys about it. But yeah, I now have to go with my hand very far because my screen is in front of me and the laptop is like really far on the side. So I need like either a normal mouse, but then more so like a trackpad, because if I had only a mouse, no, actually that would work. I think I could just insert a mouse actually, now I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm actually pretty dumb. I have a mouse laying around. I could have just done that. I literally have a very small brain. Well, you guys here. Oh, I literally have a mouse just laying right here. I could just grab it and... Are you guys hearing the mouse right now? I could just literally take it out of my computer. That is broken anyway. And, yeah, here we go. I have a very cool mouse, like a Logitech with all these buttons on the side. I don't know, I bought it like 5 years ago. You can hear the clicking. Oh, that would have been so smart. I think I have to configure it, though, on the computer first. Well, so I'll do that a little bit later. It's funny though, I'm thinking about that right now. All right, that was really useless information unless you like my life. I don't know if you do. Ripple's assails the SEC, claims the $1.3 billion lawsuit is an attack on the entire crypto industry here in the United States, which I agree with completely. However, we will see pretty soon whether or not the SEC was right or wrong. But it will most likely be the case that the SEC will not back down from this, as they don't really do that type of stuff. It's extremely unlikely that the SEC changes their leadership and that will have any effect. No, wait, let me rephrase that. It's extremely unlikely that changes in the SEC leadership will have any impact on Ripple's case. Given Commer Peer's conspicuous silence, I'd guess the vote was unanimous in favor of filing. Regardless, the case is being prosecuted by enforcement lawyers who are here to stay. It will basically just keep continuing on, so don't believe that these newer commissions will actually just throw it out the window, because that's very, very unlikely. Alright then, Grayscale Crypto Fund proactively offloads Stellar XLM alongside XRP, something that you guys kept on telling me or warning me about. Both coins shared the same protocol initially and were co-founded by the same person, Jed McCaleb, who in the end will actually be off worst out of everybody, because he'll definitely be charged for some heavy things eventually if this is all true, because he's one of the founders. And Coinbase faces class action lawsuit for selling. I think that this also has to do with the bigger picture here, because Coinbase will ultimately lose a lot of value if they do lose, which could happen if XRP is deemed a security. So I think they will work for Ripple a little bit, where they're just going to help it out, or just disregard the lawsuit and just find a way out, as they do have some huge lawyers as well. And they can put in freaking a huge sum of money towards this, because their IPO is going to give them so much, where they should put all their efforts together, bundled, to win. But yeah, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video. None of this is financial advice. Understand that.